Hey there, Leo. Welcome to your reading for mid-August 2025. We're going to jump right in here. You have this Direction and Journey card and this Wisdom Keeper card. I think that, what I feel for you, Leo, is that something is going to stick for you at this time. Now, this kind of makes sense because you had Mercury retrograde in your sign, and actually, it's going to go direct on the 11th. And so, again, by the time you wake up in the morning, it'll be direct basically on the 11th. And, I think maybe this retrograde, it's been hard to get things to stick. Whatever, your ideas, things that you say to people, how you communicate with people, things that you're hoping for. I think that stickiness is what's wrong here. And I don't know, that's the first thing that popped into my head. It's you ever have one of those sticky notes where you try to stick it somewhere and it just keeps falling off? It's that's kind of what I feel for you here, where it's you have something that is sticky, an idea, a plan, something that you want in life, whatever, it doesn't matter. So it's it is sticky, it just hasn't been sticking, I don't know, crazy message. I don't think I've ever had a message like that, but that's what's popping into my head here. That's my initial gut instinct on your reading, is that something is finally sticking, that is sticky. It's already, it's the idea is already there, whatever it is. You start here with the Ace of Wands. The Ace of Wands can be out with the old and with the new. I think you always get these cards that basically say this, Leo. And, it wouldn't surprise me if a lot of you were working on something new or, something more exciting. It's kind of funny because it's weird. I do get a little bit of a glow up vibe going on here in this reading, but it's almost like the sun is coming to shine its light on you. You have the Fool. He has the sun to his back. You have the Death card. On the Death card, the sun is coming up between the two pillars, actually, that are on the Moon card back here, but on the Death card right there. So, I feel there is some light coming in for you, and I would be glowing if I were you. I would do things to glow, of course, with this energy. The Ace of Wands also very exciting, so I do think that we are in a time where we should be following our excitement more than anything. And so if an idea excites you, if a new direction excites you, I would move in that direction. I also feel more creativity. It's I'm pretty sure I said this to you in one of your last readings as well, Leo, but it definitely pops into my head for you that it's you could glow, right? You could have your glow up, but it's going to require creativity, I'm wondering, it's not a glow up reading, so I want to make that point, but what I wonder is if you are making something glow up, if you are making something exciting, right? It's I'm trying to think of a good idea for you here. I'm trying to give you a good example, Leo, of what the hell I'm talking about, right? It's Mel Robbins, all right? I was just thinking about her this morning, right? She has her new book, Let Them. It's a very simple principle. It is a book about just letting people be who they are and and not worrying about it and letting it a very simple concept, right? But Mel Robbins is a really great marketer. I study the crap out of her. I've never actually really read any of her books, but I probably should now. But again, I study her marketing side of things because she kind of makes very simple things more exciting, It's the Let Them idea. It's not a new idea. There's nothing exciting about it, really. But it's the way she presents it, the way that she puts things together is what attracts people, to her, right? And sorry, I'm going somewhere with this. This is what I think you could do right now, Leo. But again, it might be you're all different. It could be you're doing this for yourself, to attract people to you, literally. It could be for your business, for your career. It's almost making something more exciting, giving something its glow up is kind of the energy I get here. I don't know, weird message, but there you go. You have the Ten of Cups as your crossing energy. The crossing energy can be what hurts you or helps you in a Celtic cross. I do think you have to be happy first, It's if you're saying, I'll be happy when, or, I'll be happy when I have this, or when I have that, or when this happens, it's never going to happen. So I do feel, and especially in 2025, there's something about this year that I think is requiring people to, do something that makes them happy, or we have to do more things that make us happy first, and then we will probably get the things that we want that we think will make us happy, right? So, that's kind of what's popping into my head with the Ten of Cups. The other thing that just popped into my head, by the way, is, again, with this Ace of Wands, I don't know, it's kind of a weird message to get on the Ace of Wands, but, the creativity thing, if you're applying for a job, for example, it's are there, like the let them thing, like, are there other ways that you could say things on your resume that would make you sound more exciting? I don't know, but, it might be something that you want to look into because, again, I think kind of like causing a glow up or something. I really don't know where I'm going with this, but bear with me. I'm sure it'll come in as we move throughout this reading. But it's like making something glow, It's like that let them book. If you look at the front cover of her book, it's like glowing, or there's like yellow lights around it or something, right? And so, I don't know. There you go. I would mess around with that. In the area of what's on your mind, you have the Page of Cups. Some of you could be thinking about love here. It is a good time for love for everybody. So, again, if you want it, sure, it's here. You do go down to the Five of Wands, to the Fool, which says, maybe you're fearing that there's competition for a person. Usually the Five of Wands can say that there is competition for a person. The Fool kind of says you have to take a leap of faith towards a person, but it looks like you're going to anyway. So, or maybe they're going to take a leap of faith towards you. Doesn't matter, right? And so if you're thinking about a person, sure, I would go for it. I don't think there's any reason to necessarily wait. For others, again, all your readings, Leo, have to do with like a dream, and he is dreaming, that fish might not be real in that cup. So the fish can be like a dream or something that he's trying to manifest in his life. And, the card itself always says to me that he needs to bring that dream to earth. He needs to make it happen. And so I would. In the area of your foundation, you have the Two of Swords. I don't know, you always get this card with me, Leo, the Two of Swords. So Two of Swords is like this or that thinking, but really there's like another way to do things. It's like you always get the Eight of Swords with me as well. So same thing. It's like there are probably other ways that you could do things in life, but you just have to be open and flexible to those other ways of doing things, right? And, don't be afraid of doing that either, like especially if you're trying to get attention or if you're trying to stand out or anything like that, right? I would be doing something to stand out here with the Two of Swords. I would be doing something to get attention with the Two of Swords. I think it would be very helpful for you, and it would probably lead to a lot of success, standing out, right? And I kind of feel like, it's like sometimes it's kind of funny to me that it's like sometimes I do think Leos can be afraid of making like audacious moves, right? Like big, displays of what, like your skills or whatever, right? And it's almost like that's what this needs, this reading. It's like it needs it needs like a big move, and I'm not saying you have to do anything crazy or ridiculous, but it's like maybe a little bit more ridiculous than what you're doing right now. It's like think of those those like any crazy commercials. Remember the commercial, the Grant guy, the guy that used to wear a suit with the question marks all over it. It's like that would be this glow up audacious move that we're talking about here. It's almost like the reading is asking you to glow up or stand out, but I still don't feel like that's right. It's more saying that you could glow if you wanted to, but again, you're like, again, the question mark thing is just an example. I would do don't be afraid of standing out is kind of what this is saying to me. So, there you go. Next, in your past position, you have this raw card. It says creative power. You have this other card that says creating and writing. We talked all about creativity with that Ace of Wands. So again, maybe it is that you need to get creative. Maybe you need to come up with, what is your question mark suit, Leo, that would make you stand out in work or business or love or, whatever. Like, what is the thing that would make you kind of like get the attention that you need right now to be successful? I don't know. I think you're going to have to get creative. Like I said, you're going to have to do something creatively. I also feel like, again, if something hasn't been sticking, I just think that your approach is wrong. And again, I'm not calling you out or anything. I just think you need a more sticky approach. And like, I'm surprised that there's no people here other than the Page of Cups, really. This reading, I feel like it needs King of Swords or something. Because King of Swords, and we are going to clarify, so we'll see what comes up. But, King of Swords would be like an expert or someone who can help you. It's almost like you need a second pair of eyes as well. And sorry, this reading is jam-packed. I'm getting like a million freaking things popping into my head if you can't tell here in this reading. But, again, at least it's going in one direction. So hopefully this isn't too confusing for you. But, because I think it's around one idea. But I think that getting help from other people would be extremely helpful for you. Well, you do have the Three of Pentacles. Now, it's showing up in your past position. But again, he's putting his work on display. So there is something about this reading about you putting something on display or like how you display it. Again, and this right here is a water triangle. We have a fire triangle up here. This water triangle is, again, that thing that makes something just that little bit extra special. If anyone else were to write the book let them, everybody would be like, that's very obvious advice. Everybody knows, really deep down inside, we know we should just let people do whatever the hell they want because we can't control other people. Everybody knows it. There, I summarized her book for you right there, right? The gist of the book is to just pay attention to yourself, which is, I've been saying it for years, right, on this channel. I am Mel Robbins. So there you go. She's probably a viewer. Who knows? But what I would say here, very simple idea. But what makes it more exciting, like the little extra special part of it, is the fact that she attaches a lot of story to these ideas, right? She, even the 5-second rule, which actually I did read that book. 5-second rule, she talks about how she had depression. Here's a quick 1-sentence summary. She had depression. She couldn't get out of bed. She made this 5-second rule. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. She gets out of bed, changed her life, right? Very simple idea, but probably her best-selling book, right? But again, this is what made it special right here, is this water triangle. She added her own extra pizzazz, her own extra flair to what she was talking about in the book. And so I think anything that you are a frickin' Leo. Isn't she a Leo? Probably not. She's probably a Virgo, but or something. But what I would say here is that, again, I think that you're a Leo, you have pizzazz, you have extra flair that you need to add to something. And again, I'm speaking generally, because if you want love, then you need to add this flair to yourself. You need to, highlight those things about yourself that are special, right? If this is business, same thing. If you're submitting a resume, same thing. Like, you need to highlight something. And, here you go. This is turning into a Staples reading, because we talked about Post-its so far, highlighters. We're just missing a couple of things, right? Next, in the area of the very near future, you have this exploration card. It says, right now you need to search and explore. It's okay to wander until you find your home. You have this Gemini card. It says, speak your truth. It says, choose your words wisely. Remember that your words have consequences. Every single Leo reading that I do has something about words. So I would make sure that you're speaking positively about yourself. Every single person for this middle of the month has had something about the truth. And again, I think we're in a time of truth, so we need to live our truth. And again, if we're not, then we could have a little bit of a hard time. You have the 5 Wands. It's like, I think you think there's competition where there isn't, Leo. And, I think that's something to think about. It's like, if you are thinking that there's competition in, work or business, it's like, yeah, there might be competition, but, I think that you could easily beat the competition. So it's almost like there is no competition, or you're making a bigger deal out of the competition than it needs to be. So I would definitely pay attention to that with the 5 Wands. The 5 Wands can also be about learning from the competition. So again, like, what isn't the competition doing? That's what I would pay attention to. It's like the competition, it's like, it kind of reminds me, I don't know, I had someone in my group the other day talking about how the niche that they're in on YouTube is being dominated by AI content. And they're worried about it. I'm like, yeah, but every single one of those channels is exactly the same. They're all doing exactly the same thing. So you could easily beat the competition just by being a little bit different, right? So I don't know. That's kind of popping into my head with the 5 Wands. Next, in your outcome row, you have the storyteller card and this tender embrace card. Yeah, the past couple weeks, you've been getting these cards that really say you need to pay attention to the story that you tell, about yourself, like the words you use on yourself. This tender embrace card, what's standing out to me is it's card number 22. 22 is a master builder number. 22 can be a little bit of a pain in the butt for sure, because it's like I just moved last year from a house number 22. I lived there for 2 years, the last place I lived, basically. And it's like, 22, it's like very good, because I did lay a lot of very solid foundations and things like that. But there's like a lot of back to the drawing board type energy with how, like, living in a house number 22 as a master builder. But for you on a personal level, again, that it's like, maybe that's what you've been experiencing, Leo, is kind of like having to go back over things, having to redo things. I think you've experienced a lot of that energy, but really, it's probably a good thing, because you're building something on a solid foundation, right? It's like, instead of building something that's not going to last, you're actually, building things in life that are built to last, which is good. You have the Fool coming up in the area of the next few months. Yeah, again, if you want love, I do feel some of you could be taking a risk here in love to look like a fool. Again, not in a bad way, and I don't think you will if you want love. I think this could be something very good here. It's like, I also feel like saying, it's like sometimes, like, I feel like saying don't be a cat, basically, here, Leo. I know that you are, right? But if you want love, it's like, I feel like this is saying that it's like you have to, like, sink your claws into something. Don't just, kind of like be like a cat, right? Like a lion, be the lion. Maybe that's a better way to put it. A cat just kind of like, bats around at something, right? I think a lion, attacks something and makes, sinks its teeth into it. So, I don't know where I'm going with this other than, like, I just see this in my head. Like, maybe you could be meeting a person over the next few months, or maybe you already have. And it's like, I feel like if you're like a cat, where it's like you come and go and you kind of just like play around with the person. And I'm not saying, like, I'm not saying that you're doing this from a negative perspective or anything like that, right? I'm not calling you out or anything here, Leo. But I'm just saying, like, if you do that, I think that this person is going to run away. I think that if you sink your claws into it and like sink your teeth into this thing, this person, that things will go very, very well. So I don't know. It's like I'm wondering if some of you are talking to a person right now and it's just like maybe you feel like it's not going anywhere. I feel like I said this to you before, Leo. I could be wrong. It could be someone else, but if you're dealing with a person, especially if it's like an air sign, like we see a lot of air here. It's like if you're not, it's like maybe you think you're being clear, but you're not. You know what I mean? That's what I feel here. The competition thing stands out to me. Sometimes the Five of Wands tells me, like, especially in love, it's like maybe you're dealing with a person that has to be cautious. Like, if you're dealing with your freaking boss, for example, right? It's like one of those things where it's like maybe you're flirting with your boss that you're interested in, but it's like maybe what you don't realize is that maybe they're not really kind of. Maybe you're number one. Maybe you need to be more aggressive, right? Number two, it's like maybe they have to be cautious because they are your boss, right? That's like, I don't know. I have like a story like that popping into my head here, going in this direction. And I'm not saying it is your boss. This could be another situation, where a person, maybe because of their position or whatever, maybe they have to be cautious, so they're not really. It's like maybe they're not really kind of picking up on what you're putting down or something. I don't know. In the area of your closest relationships, Four Cups. This is all relationships, not just love. But the Four Cups can say you've experienced disappointments before. But it's like you have to apply what you learned to this new cup. And there definitely is a new cup here, Leo, if you want love. And I would apply what you learned to that. I would also say Leo has had challenges with people over the past many years, so I think you've probably had a lot of issues with like working together with people, anyone you've had to be like work on a team with and things like that. And it's like I do think this is like a culmination moment where you have to take what you've learned and apply it to to new situations moving forward. Next, in the area of your future feelings, you have the Justice card. Yeah, I feel pretty good about this. I feel like you feel like things are balancing out. I also feel like your emotions are more balanced, which is good. Because I think when our emotions are balanced out, that we can attract, better things, right, in life. We can attract, new things and, better connections and, more money and all that other stuff. So I kind of just feel like you're balanced out here. Your outcome is the Death card. Definitely a time of significant change for Leo. Like, this doesn't really surprise me at all. I feel that a lot of Leos are changing. I think a lot of Leos are making big changes at this time. Big life changes as well, and big shifts as well. Especially in career. I think that it would be a good time for you to shift career. Even if you don't, like, again, people always ask me, they'll say, like, I love my career, I don't want to quit. I'm like, you don't have to quit. But you could ask for a raise or promotion, or you could just level up in some way, right? And I think it would be worth it. With the Ace of Wands and the Ten of Cups, you have the Eight of Pentacles. Literally just said it, leveling up in career, so there you go. It popped into my head that there could be something about you leveling up in career, so I think that your hard work is kind of paying off here. I'm not really getting anything traditional Eight of Pentacles on this card. It's more like a leveling up in career or something like that is going on here. With the Page of Wands, you have the Ten of Wands. You're making this too hard. I'm not calling you out, Leo, but again, I am at the same time. Like, I think you should just know that, if you're interested in a person right now, I think you're making this way too complicated or, way too hard or something like that. It's definitely popping into my head. I feel like this person, like, if you're talking to a person right now, it's like they are interested, but it's like maybe, I don't know, it's like, number one, today is the last day of the retrograde, so this might get better. Today is the 10th, the last day of the retrograde, so, this will be published on the 11th, so by the time you're watching this, maybe this will clear up anyway. But I also feel that you have to, it's like, it's almost like you have to understand the situation, or something. I wish I had a good example for you, Leo. I just don't, So, like I said, it just reminds me of like a work situation, like I said, where it's like two people at work, where it's like maybe there's a rule against dating. So it's like maybe you're like, man, I thought this person would be more aggressive or would pick up on what I'm putting down, but clearly they're not. So, again, I think I think if you could just be more clear or something, that this would probably be fine. It would probably work out for you. Probably an earth sign. I mean, I just said probably an earth sign because of this card. It could be an earth sign or an air sign is what I'm picking up here. Could be any sign, general reading, whatever. With the Two of Swords, you have the Page of Pentacles. It's like something new. The universe really wants you moving in new directions, especially Two of Swords. She has to get to that new island. You always get the Eight of Swords with me, in reading. So Page of Pentacles is about learning something new, which I would definitely be doing if I were a Leo. You know what I mean? That's it. With the Three of Pentacles, you have the Tower coming up in the past, which is good. So this could say that you're letting go of a past Tower moment. It could also say that you put, this kind of gives me the vibes of putting a lot of work into things. Tower, Three of Pentacles is kind of like you have maybe over the past many years, you put a lot of work into things and then it doesn't work, right? It ends in a Tower moment. That could include love. So it's like maybe that's why you're hesitating here in this connection or whatever the hell's going on here. I don't know. But whatever. It feels like a cat lion. Someone needs to be a lion in this situation. Someone needs to be more aggressive or something. I don't know. But whatever. And again, I kind of feel like maybe that's what you're used to. So, it's understandable that you would be, afraid of, and I'm not saying you're afraid. Maybe you're not afraid, but, maybe you're nervous about investing in something again. With the Five of Wands, you have the Eight of Wands. Yeah, quick success, quick conclusion, things happening quickly. So Eight of Wands is something happening quickly. It can also represent a quick conclusion or quick success. So again, this is something that could be successful more quickly. I also think, the other thing we were talking about is something sticking, like an idea that you have or something. The Eight of Wands would be about getting clear on the vision and the words, that you use on something. So it's like this is true alignment, the Eight of Wands, because those 8 wands are all going in one direction. So if you're working on a business, an idea, whatever, it's like, if you have if you've been pulling in 2 directions on something, it's like maybe that's why it hasn't been sticking. By getting clear on what you want, that could make it stick more, which I think you need. With the Fool, yes, you're afraid of heartbreak with the Three of Swords. So I think some of you need to heal your heart. That's the other thing is maybe some of you need to heal your heart before you get into something. It's an excellent time for healing, Leo. So anything you can do to rest, relax, recover, heal, go through a healing would be great. With the Four of Cups, you have 2 cards. You have the Hangman and the Star. So again, this could be the other issue. This type of thing here with the Star. Star is fame and fortune, and it doesn't mean you're necessarily attracting a famous person, but the Star card, sometimes I feel in a love reading, for example, that we could be putting someone on a pedestal, right? We see them as a star. and then you have the Hangman. The Hangman is hanging from the tree of knowledge and wisdom. He's looking for answers. He's hoping for enlightenment. But it's I think you have as many answers as you're going to get. The Hangman, the whole point of the card is that he's put himself on pause. He's gathered enough information, and now it's time for him to move forward. So you know what I mean? It's it could be an Aquarius. You have Gemini, Aquarius, and Libra showing up here. So it could be an air sign. Could be someone with a lot of air in their chart or something as well. If you're looking for love. Could be any sign, general reading, whatever. But, again, it could be someone you see as very special. But, again, I do think you have to not put a person on a pedestal if you are the one that is interested. If it's the other person, then I think they have to stop putting you on a pedestal here, Leo. And they have to, they have to sink their teeth in you. Hopefully not literally. We've been getting a lot of, weird serial killer messages lately. And, mostly in Scorpio's reading. And so I said to Scorpio, if there was a sign that would date a serial killer, it would probably be Scorpio or Pisces, right? But probably Scorpio. So there you go. But what I would say here is that, again, it's stop putting this on a pedestal. Also, glow up stuff going on here. With the Justice card, you have the 3 cups. A lot of people, I said earlier that I'm looking for people in this reading because I think that, getting wisdom from other people could be very helpful. I think we said that on the 3 of Pentacles, right? And, talking about the King of Swords, which you don't have, but I was just, making a statement. And, again, I do think there are other people that are going to help lift you up, which is good, or help guide you at this time. Sure, not that card. With the Death card, you have two cards. You have the Emperor and the Chariot, which is like a victory. Some of you could be attracting an Emperor or an Empress, taking how it resonates, but Chariot would be a victory. A lot of you could be moving at this time as well. So, again, I don't think you have to move, but Death, Tower can be a move as well. Some of you could be moving or traveling, or you could be thinking about moving or traveling, which I think would be a good idea, Leo. So let's see. Here you go. You have this torch card. There's a ton of light in this reading. Tower, lightning bolt on the top of the tower. Star, you have the Hangman. His head is glowing. You have the Ace of Wands, where I felt glowing energy. So, definitely time to shine. This card says spiritual development, enlightenment, awareness, and understanding. Yeah, it is a very spiritual time as well. I think it's an excellent time to work on anything spiritual. I think everybody should do that. You have this grasshopper. It says situation in the balance that requires careful handling. Probably this love situation, but if it's not love, this could be dream. Again, I didn't really say that, but, if you don't want love, that's perfectly fine. Page of Cups could just be a dream, something that you're dreaming of having. And so it's like I wouldn't be worried about this or paranoid about it. I think you'll be fine, but I do think it's time to make some moves. I think it's time to, again, have that glow up. It's like, again, I still don't think that's the right words to use, but whatever. It's like you need to make something glow, I think is more accurate, is what I feel here based off this reading. And again, it's not necessarily going to be easy. Like, I don't want, you're going to have to put the work in. You're going to have to, Mel Robbins this thing up, right? So maybe you need to go study Mel Robbins or something like that. And, I don't know, popped into my head. You have this dagger card that says fears, worries, tense situation. I would be careful of this, Leo, for sure, over the next, several years. I think one thing that, just even based off the astrology, the one thing that could hold you back is fears and worries, which we kind of see here. So I would let those things go. You have this hand, you can't make this one up. It says, in need of help, assistance, or guidance. That's what I was saying with the King of Swords. It's almost like the reading needs an expert or needs someone. So again, if you're interested in, let's say you're talking to a person. It's maybe you think, and I feel like I said this to you in your last reading. It's maybe you think you're flirting with this person, but maybe if you show your friends, what you're saying to this person, maybe they'll be like, what? What are you talking about? It's I don't know. It's maybe you think you're doing something you're not. I have a great example. I used to have a friend. We used to go out all the time, as a group of people from work. And she used to be like, no one ever approaches me. No one likes me, and all this other stuff. And she's very attractive, right? And but we used to tell her all the time. We used to go out, and she would hide in the corner. She would have a hat pulled down over her face, and all this other stuff, right? It's no one can even see you. No one knows that you exist, right? She's married now, so there you go. But it's just kind of it's maybe you need a person to be hey, well, it's maybe you, she thought she was doing something, but she wasn't, right? And so it's maybe you think you're doing something, but you're not. And I would pay attention to that. You have this bird flying. It says news is on the way. Page of Pentacles. Page of Pentacles is a messenger. And so, even though normally we look at knights as messengers in the tarot, the Page of Pentacles can also be a messenger. So there you go. Definitely could be good news. But pretty interesting. Definitely some random messages here, but there you go. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. Happy birthday to you August Leos as well, by the way. And thank you, and definitely enjoy your month.